My family disowned me 15 years ago. Complete no contact. Now all at once they want back in my life and are stalking me. I finally confronted them. Disclaimer. Part of this is from a post on 8 that was removed, then added to the events of today. I don't know if this goes here. I just needed to get it out. I confronted them today and I can't stop crying or shaking. I don't know why. I don't know what's wrong with me right now. I'm finally calming down a little to get this done. So I 36 male got into some trouble 15 years ago. I take all the responsibility for this, and even to this day I carry all the shame, guilt and embarrassment for it. Also, this might come up. This is not cultural or religion. It's just shame to the family name. The situation when I was 19, my ID was stolen and being used in another state and created a situation where my driver's license was suspended nationwide. Somehow any and all notifications from the other state never made it to me. I started doing all the necessary things I needed to do to try and fix the problem. I, however, had a couple of tickets in my current state that I needed to pay but couldn't because I needed to pay my rent and keep my apartment. Also at the time my full-time job was having problems and was borderline shutting down, so to try and make ends meet I was doing a lot of freelance work as well. Again, my fault. I knew the company was in trouble, but I was still holding out hope that things would get better. I was hoping that a couple more freelance jobs and I would be able to finally pay the tickets. This was never the case, and the long story short of it, I was arrested and spent 2 weeks in jail. Not ideal, but I guess in the long run it worked out for the best by clearing the tickets in my home state. However, my family felt otherwise and I was completely disowned because of this. I lost everything and everyone. The only reason I still had my apartment was because I had enough to cover the rent and the freelance work kept up. It took another 6 months, but I was finally able to get the other state to release my driver's license. I decided that since my family hated me, I didn't need them, so a year later I changed my last name, phone number and email. My social media is locked down so tight you would think I was hiding national security secrets. I was able to finish college and get settled into my career, and at this point I am happier than I have ever been. Enter current time, and 2 weeks ago there was a knock on my door and it was my mom and dad. Again, it had been 15 years and I hadn't spoken to them, not one word. The only thing I could get out of my mouth was, "How did you find me and what are you doing here?" My mom's response was $5,000 to a PI. Finally, a search of Facebook with just your first name found you and the PI confirmed it was you. I responded. He didn't answer my second question. What are you doing here? My mom again. It has been 15 years. Looking at where you are, it seems you have learned your lesson and you are succeeding. You've missed out on a lot of things. I ended with, yes, I have learned my lesson. One of them is don't think anyone will ever help you or be understanding, even your family. And yes, I did succeed, and I did it entirely without you. Please leave and don't ever come back. Shut the door in their face, locked it, checked the back door and closed all the curtains. I'm guessing they hung around for another 15 minutes knocking, demanding to be let in. I went back to bed, turned the fan on high and went back to sleep. I did some research, and I have missed out on a lot. I have nieces and nephews, brothers and sisters-in-laws. But the truth is, I don't know any of them, and I don't think I need to. I live a very quiet life. I can count on 2 hands how many friends I actually have. A friend said I may have taken it too far, that I should have given them a chance, and if I didn't like what they had to say, then I could have told them to go away. I was hoping that this was going to be the end of it. But now they have taken to stalking me. I'll be completely honest. They are harmless, but just a real pain in the ass, and also I have been fucking with them and having some fun with the help of a friend. He now calls them fleas and will check on me asking if I have fleas or not. It's kind of funny. If I say yes, then it's game on. The first night he came over and we walked downtown to a really expensive restaurant that I knew they were never going to go to. Another night we went to the porn store. That was the best one. This past week, the way my days off fell, I had a 5-day stretch, so I decided to go to the city for a few days. I am walking distance to the Amtrak station and they followed me. I kept my AirPods in the whole time and I know they were trying to talk to me, but I ignored them the entire time. People on the platform even were telling me that they were talking to me, and I said that I know, but I don't want to deal with them. Train came and I got on and left them to watch. I love that. It got to the point I finally had to acknowledge them. They weren't going to go away, so we met at the park across from my apartment. I didn't hold anything back. I told them this was the one and only time I was going to talk to them. I took a page from the Matlock series and told them I was their judge. I was their jury. Thank you, Olympia Lawrence. I then told them that as far as I was concerned, they were guilty of anything and everything, and all I was doing was hearing what they had to say before I walked away from them. I asked them that why now, after 15 years, they are demanding to be back in my life and why they made the decisions they did to disown me. They told me that I ruined the family name and that the shame I brought to the family was horrible and that this was the only way to make it right was to get rid of me. They said that recently my name has been coming up in conversation and that the family is grown with a lot of new people. That brother and sister-in-law are asking questions about who is Brinley. That I have a niece who they think I would love and get along with, and the same for a nephew who was born last year, and now should be the time to fix things. They said that looking at my apartment and the life I had, that I must have learned my lesson about being a better person and managing my life better. I finally cut them off and told them that I couldn't stand to hear anymore. I was at the point I could hear my heart beating in my ears. I told them that I did everything completely by myself. Nobody from that life exists anymore. Not one person. That they just need to tell everyone the truth, that I was in jail for 2 weeks and because of this the decision was made to get rid of me. I told them that I did it all on my own and that my one cousin Jean, who is only a cousin by marriage, was the one who was there for me, hence why I took her last name. I told them that to this day I'm doing everything on my own and rely on nobody and don't need or want them in any way of my life. They made their decisions and I'm making mine. I told them this will be the last time we talk and that I would be going to see a lawyer to see if there was anything that could be done to keep them away from me, and that if they continue to follow me around or show up at my apartment I would have them arrested for trespassing. And I went back home and again locked everything down, pulled the curtains, and have been crying since. Karen demands we pay for the iPad her child broke by user Likamat. I work at a bowling alley and today we had a large tournament, roughly 6 people on all 40 lanes. At the start of the day it was nice and quiet until about 2-3 hours, and the kid who was maybe 10-12 that was sat directly in front of the front counter iPad ran out of battery. The kid lost it at this point, practically screaming at his mother to charge it or to play on her phone. She clearly didn't care. She basically told him to sit down and shut up. The kid only did half that. He started walking around the counter. Then he noticed the iPad we have behind the counter to help keep track of reservations and parties, etc. His face lit up like it was Christmas morning. As I always do when a kid runs behind the counter, I stop them and say, "Well, little buddy, can you be back here?" The kid then looked up at me, pointed to the iPad and said, "But I want it." "Sorry, little dude, but that is our important iPad. I can let you have it." The kid said, "Oh," and walked away. Me thinking that was the end of it, went back to tending to lane calls, score corrections, and all the usual stuff that happens when a tournament is going on. Then about maybe 5 minutes later I see out of the corner of my eye the kid sneaking around the side of the counter and reaching out to the iPad. Once again I told him he can have it, this time with a bit more of a strict tone to tell him I am serious. With me still looking at him, he reached out more and more until he grabbed it and ran. Luckily he didn't get far as he tripped over one of the many ball bags strewn across the floor from the bowlers. However, unfortunately he landed on the tiled off eating area, smashing the tablet on the ground. Naturally the kid started bowling. I rushed over, grabbed the iPad off the ground only for some of the glass to fall out. The mother was none too pleased at this. She looked beet red as she hurried over and shouted, "How could you hurt my little pumpkin?" I explained to her the situation and how her child tripped and smashed the iPad, and she gave the stereotypical "my child is an angel and can do no wrong" speech and demanded that we pay her for a new iPad for her son. I told her that it's not how this works, and she started to cause the scene. The tournament head came over noticing the commotion and asked what was going on. Obviously we both gave our sides of the story. He then said that since the damage happened during his tournament, he would reimburse us for the damaged iPad, but the mother, son, and her bowler were all kicked out and the bowler disqualified. Honestly, I feel bad for the bowler. He was doing pretty good in the tournament, but thanks to a crappy parent, it was all null and void. I talked with the official later and he said that she has been a problem at the other places before for similar issues such as being too rowdy and not watching her kid. Apparently she was warned at their last tournament that if it happened again her son would be disqualified from the tournament. I feel bad for him, but oh well. Elderly mom and Emil both looking for someone to take care of them. By user Pink Drink Think. My mom and Emil are both getting up in age, early 70s. Right now they live independently, but it's clear they are planning for the future and trying to figure out who will take care of them. Problem is they've both alienated everyone from their lives. Mom, physically and emotionally abusive to me as a child. Cheated on my dad, and after the divorce the neglect started where there was no food in the house and I had like 3 sets of clothes to rotate through. She would go out to dinner and buy herself anything she wanted. She always said she wished she had had an abortion. Somehow I married a man with the same mother. Also cheated on her husband and neglected my husband. But the marriage stayed intact. She has always been nasty to me and we have minimal contact with her. I haven't seen her in 15 years. My in-laws, for whatever reason, have decided to spoil my sister-in-law and give her everything, many tens of thousands of dollars. We have gotten nothing, which is fine, never asked for anything from them. However, SIL has made it clear she is also mad at MIL and will not take care of her in her old age. Lately the in-laws have started calling more and even saying they want to live closer by. I have been told that all this is because my husband and I turned out to be the responsible ones compared to the other siblings. We did well in life, had good careers, saved money, etc. Maybe our future selves wasn't immediately apparent to our parents as children or young adults. Guess they didn't realize they'd need us or see the potential. Well, too bad. My sister said I owe her because I have more money now, by user Sam Pinkfire. I got a better paying job this year. I worked hard, saved and finally feel stable. But suddenly, my sister, who has always been financially reckless, keeps making comments like, "You rich now, you got this," whenever the bill comes. Last night she straight up told me I owe her for sticking with me when I was broke. What? I didn't realize friendship or familyship came with a tab. I don't mind helping sometimes, but this guilt tripping is making me want to disappear. My mom wants me to date her boyfriend's son, by user M405. So 4 months ago my stepdad died and now my mom has found herself a new boyfriend. I 29 if personally I'm not excited for her to jump into another relationship. After my stepdad's funeral service she told me she would never date again. I had a little hope we would hang out more, but that is not the case. Well, now she has a boyfriend and told my older sister her and BF wanted to set me up on a blind date with his son. We know nothing about these people and I don't even know his son's name. My sister told her I would not be interested at all. She did her best to shut it down and I didn't know about the conversation until after it happened. This evening my mom texted me asking if I would meet his son. She said he thought I was pretty, so they have already shown him my picture and discussed this and that bothers me. I responded by saying I'll pass on this one. She continued on, so I told her I was gay. I am not a lesbian, but since she thinks being gay is a mental illness I am going to keep it up for a bit. This is not and will not be the end of them trying to set me up with his son. It bothers her. I am not married, but I am not interested in a relationship right now. I'm not obligated to go along with any of their plans and haven't even met my mom's boyfriend yet. Tilda internally screaming Tilda.